Hello and welcome to Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. My name is Kelly and I'm a former wedding planner and blogger, and I'm obsessed with weddings. If you're planning a wedding in Ireland, you're in the right place. You're going to learn the tried and tested methods to planning your dream wedding without the added stress. Think of this as your one-stop shop for everything to do with planning your wedding in Ireland, with me, your new wedding planning bestie, and a cup of tea. This is Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. Today we are talking all about wedding dress shopping. It's got to be one of the most fun and highly anticipated wedding planning tasks on your to-do list. And of course, it's all fun and games, but you want to make sure that you are as prepared as you can be and you have the best and most productive time while trying on your wedding dresses. So today I'm going to be joined by an expert who is going to walk us through some really helpful tips, and we're going to talk about some really practical things that you can consider before you start looking for your wedding dress to make sure that you are super prepared and ready. You're going to have the most fun as well, so let's not forget that. But let's get stuck in. Before you even start looking at dresses, there are a few things that it's really helpful for you to have made a decision on before you even get there. And these are the things, just a handful of things. You need to know the style of your wedding and whether or not you want your dress to match. Now, this example is one that I've shared many times before on the podcast, which is, choosing a ball gown dress and then ending up getting married on the beach in the heat of summer. Two really beautiful things that just don't match very well. So think about the style of your wedding and then ask yourself if you want your dress to match the style. The next thing is how formal the wedding is going to be. So similar thing, if you're having a really formal wedding, there's a certain category of dresses you can look at. If things are going to be really relaxed, there's another category of dresses you can look at. And then of course there's a whole different category that matches any style no matter what. But it's helpful for you to know just how formal you want things to be and if you want to match that vibe. The next thing is the season that you're getting married in. It's really helpful if you have your exact date and location. But even if you don't have the exact date, but you know which season you're getting married in, that's a very helpful start. You could have lovely long sleeves for a winter wedding, or you could have more summer appropriate fabrics for the hotter weather. But having an idea of the season will definitely help you when it comes to looking for your dress and thinking about the accessories and the other things that will be part of your bridal look. The next thing is there a part of your body that you really want to accentuate? A low back dress, something nipped in at the waist, or a strapless neckline. Just have a think about what you might want to accentuate and then keep that in mind as you look at different wedding dresses. And then a bonus item to have in mind before you start is to know your budget. So you want to make sure that you can actually afford the dress that you look at. And so having an idea of your wedding budget is a great place to start, because it means when you're looking at dresses, you just don't even bother trying on anything that's outside of your budget. And it just helps you to actually work out what you can try on. But now the first step to actually finding your perfect dress is to know your silhouette. So I had a chat with Dawn from Lamelia Bridal Studio, and she's walked us through what the different wedding dress shapes are, also called silhouettes, as well as which body types are most flattered by each of these types of dresses. It's really practical and super helpful. So if you are taking notes, you're really going to find some valuable information here. And if you're not the note-taking type, you can always visit weddingsonline.ie/blog. And every blog post that we do has a written version as well, and all the details of these types of wedding dress shapes that Dawn is about to share with us, they're all in writing on the blog as well. But have a listen, because this is super informative and really interesting.
Hi guys, this is Dawn from Lamelia Bridal Studio in Sligo. So I'm going to have a little chat with you today about the different silhouettes to suit different body types. Finding the perfect wedding dress is about finding the perfect silhouette to suit your body. We all have different shapes and every silhouette will suit a different body type. So we have ball gown. Ball gown is fitted on the bodice. It's a very full skirt. It suits slender or pear-shaped figures. We have A-line. A-line is a great silhouette to suit every body type. It is fitted at the bodice. It flows to the ground in an unbroken line. It looks like an A when you look at it from a distance, and it definitely suits most figures. We have modified A-line, which is the same as an A-line, which you might have a strapless version of it, or you might add a belt to it. Fit and flare. kicks out above the knee. So you've got full movement in it. It suits wide hips and complements your curves. You'll be able to dance in it. You'll be able to go to the toilet in it. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people get confused between fit and flare and mermaid. Mermaid is kicks out from below the knee. So this means that you have very limited movement in it. You often see brides kind of walking like a penguin. You can't get up and down steps in it. And most importantly, that you have to take it off to go to the toilet. The buttons, every one of the buttons will have to be undone when going to the toilet. So I actually don't stock them. We have sheath, which is straight down. It is more suited for taller figures. It's basically, it doesn't nip in anywhere. It's just straight down. Then you've got T-length. T-length is cup between the knee and the ankle. So they're the most silhouettes that are worn in Ireland. As I said, the most important thing about finding the perfect wedding dress is about finding the perfect silhouette to suit your body. This is something we talk about in depth at Lamelia's Wedding Dress Masterclass.
Well, that was Dawn from Lamelia Bridal Studio, and as promised, loads of really helpful, valuable tips and great information about the different silhouettes and wedding dress shapes to suit your body. And so I highly recommend familiarizing yourself with those and just knowing what you want to try on based on the body parts that you want to accentuate and, you know, how you want to feel as confident as possible. Well, next is having an idea of your wedding dress timeline. So this is what we recommend. Start at least a year ahead of time. Now, of course, we did mention at the beginning that before you start, it's really helpful if you know things like your budget and the time of year you're getting married and your location if possible. So you want to get those things nailed first, but about a year ahead of time gives you plenty of time to do your research, to try on dresses. You know, you may need to try on quite a few dresses. Some people try on one dress and they know that that's the one. Other people try on a handful of dresses. Sometimes you need to go to different boutiques. But give yourself time. You don't want to feel rushed. So starting a year out means you're not going to feel stressed about finding your wedding dress. Next is plan on having your alterations done about 3 months before the big day. Now, this, of course, depends on what the alterations are. It depends on the type of dress you've chosen. It does depend on several factors, but usually around 3 months before the day. And you can confirm this with your bridal boutique, when you're looking for your dress, and you can discuss your specific timeline with them. But about 3 months before the day is when you would have your alterations. And then when it comes to collecting your dress, that's usually done about 4 weeks before the wedding day. But again, that might differ from boutique to boutique. It also depends on, what the alterations were that you had done, but you can anticipate that they'll be ready 4 weeks before the wedding. And then you would start storing your dress somewhere, keeping it in safe hands and away from the sun and lights that could impact the material and the colors of the dress. So what we're saying here is start a year out. Keep in mind that you'll have your alterations done 3 months before, and then about 4 weeks before the day you can collect your dress and you'll have it in your possession. Now I'm going to share a few bonus wedding dress tips to wrap up this episode. First, have an open mind and try on things that maybe you wouldn't usually gravitate towards. So, of course, what Dawn has shared with us about the different shapes of dresses will be a really helpful indicator of the types of styles that you think would suit your body type based on the different things that are emphasized and body types that are flattered by different shapes. But you might find that you always gravitate towards A-line because it's flattering on all body types, as Dawn shared with us. But maybe you want to be bold and try on something that you've never tried before, like a mermaid dress, just to see what it's like. When I was trying on dresses, I did that. I knew that A-line was probably going to be the shape that I was going to go for, and it was. I ended up with an A-line dress. It was exactly what I had pictured, and I felt super confident and comfortable in the dress. But while I was trying on dresses, I also wanted to try on a mermaid dress just to confirm my suspicions that it is not the right shape for me. And I was right. It was not the right shape for me. It looked really terrible. But I tried it on and I knew this is not a shape that suits me. But now I know for certain that I was on the right track with the whole A-line dress shape thing. So you may have that experience. You may have a completely different experience where you think something's not going to look good on you. You try it on and you realize you actually look amazing, and you may surprise yourself. So just have an open mind because you never know. The next bonus wedding dress tip is to buy a dress in your actual size or a size up. Don't be tempted to lose weight so that you can fit into your wedding dress. It's just asking for stress, and nobody needs that. It's not hard to make a dress smaller, but it's very hard to make a dress bigger. It's not impossible, but it's not easy. So if you've bought a dress that is too small for you with the idea that you're going to starve yourself and you're going to work out so that you can fit into this dress, it's just going to be very stressful and perhaps unsuccessful. So rather get a dress that's a little bit bigger or your actual size, and then you can get it altered 3 months before the day, as we spoke about before. Now, we've said this before, know your budget. I know it's not a fun thing, but it really helps to know your budget before you start looking for wedding dresses. And with that, don't forget to include your veil, your shapewear, your jewelry, and your shoes in your bridal look budget. It's not all about the dress. Everything fits together perfectly. Make an actual appointment. So you can't just walk into a bridal boutique and start trying on dresses. You actually need to make an appointment ahead of time. And you can find out at that point if you're allowed to bring anybody with you, if you're going to have anything included, like, if you're going to get some champagne or Prosecco or something when you're there. You can ask all those questions about, what you might expect at your appointment. But the idea here is to actually make an appointment and not just arrive and hope to try on dresses. And the final bonus tip is, before you buy your dress, make sure you sit in it first, because the last thing you want is to buy an amazing dress that looks perfect on you when you're standing, but you can't actually sit in it, because a lot of the day will be spent sitting. Well, thank you for listening today. The Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online podcast is produced by me, Kelly, and mixed, mastered and edited by Glenn Hartman. For more wedding planning tips, advice, checklists, and more, visit weddingsonline.ie.